Before news of his death in South Africa was confirmed, former Zambian President Edgar Lungu appeared to be quietly orchestrating a political resurgence. According to a family source cited by Zambian Observer, Lungu had allegedly reached out to three influential figures: constitutional lawyer John Sangwa, businessman Joseph Mudolo, and philanthropist James Ndombo, chairman of the My Hometown initiative. These reported overtures now read less like campaign strategy and more like the final chapter in a legacy he was determined to reshape. The alleged engagement with John Sangwa was particularly striking. Known for his legal independence and past criticism of Lungu's administration, Sangwa had recently been granted permission to join a constitutional case as amicus curiae, a friend of the court, regarding Lungu's eligibility to run again. If Lungu indeed sought Sangwa's support, it may have been a calculated move to reframe the legal narrative surrounding his presidency, turning a former critic into a legitimizing voice. It was not just about winning a case, it was about rewriting the terms of his political memory. Joseph Mudolo's name adds a financial and operational layer to the story. As a well-connected businessman, Mudolo could have provided the infrastructure and funding needed for a high-stakes political comeback. His potential involvement suggests Lungu was not merely contemplating a return, but preparing for one with logistical precision. In a country grappling with economic challenges, aligning with figures like Mudolo could have helped Lungu project an image of pragmatic leadership and fiscal renewal. James Ndombo, meanwhile, represents something deeper: symbolic resonance. His My Hometown initiative is more than a philanthropic brand. It's a cultural movement rooted in identity, empowerment, and regional pride. If Lungu reached out to Ndombo, it may have been an attempt to tap into emotional and grassroots energy, especially in Southern Province, where Ndombo's influence is strongest. This wasn't just coalition building, it was myth-making, a way to embed his political ambitions within the cultural fabric of the nation. Now, with Lungu's death confirmed and his body reportedly held in Pretoria under legal dispute, the meaning of these alliances shifts. The Zambian government insists on repatriating his remains for burial at Embassy Park, the official resting place for presidents. His family, represented by South African lawyer Thembeka Nguktoibi, argues that Lungu wished for a private burial, away from state symbolism. The legal standoff has exposed a constitutional vacuum. Zambia has no clear laws governing the burial of former presidents, leaving courts to navigate a deeply emotional and politically charged decision. In this light, Lungu's final political maneuvers take on a new dimension. They were not just tactical, they were existential. His outreach to Sangwa, Mudolo, and Ndombo may have been less about winning an election and more about securing a legacy. Whether these meetings occurred or not, the narrative they suggest is one of a man seeking to reconcile power, law, economy, and culture in his final days. As Zambia debates where and how to bury its former leader, the story of his last alliances becomes part of a broader reckoning. Lungu was not simply preparing for a comeback, he was crafting the contours of how he would be remembered, and in the absence of his voice, these shadow alliances speak volumes.